Update them on the tornado.
27th?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Hello everybody. Today's the 27th September. We're in our turkey barns today. We sold birds last week. Washed down, disinfected, and still see a few of we're lifting the roof up. Still ain't got them bolted back down and the trusses secured there, but we got the insulation crew down there and they built back the rest of the barn down there, so we're just pushing shavings in right now. We had a little rain out for harvest this morning, not much rain, but been a little dry. Hasn't rained in about a month, I guess. I don't know, pretty close to a month we haven't had a rain, but we did start on corn a little bit last Friday. We've been running slow. We're still missing part of our big bend roof there. I don't know when it's coming in, but so far crop's been pretty good. Everything that we've shelled so far has had some wind damage in it. Every field, you know, you can go 10 feet and there'll be some stalks snapped off, some stalks laying on the ground, but the crop's been good. We harvested our Mac plot. I don't have the information with me. It's in the combine, but the big standout was naturally where the 2x2, where we didn't run the 2x2, was about 40 some bushel off. Where we did not run the in-furrow was a little bit wetter, like a point wetter than the average of the plot. And I think what won the plot was where we ran the whole program with the FICO Terra, and I think it won it by like 3 bushels. So, but when we get a little time toward the end of harvest here, we'll get all that information of everything out sent to you guys. But good corn. I'm thinking the high was 340 something and the low was not quite 300. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So it's still good corn. Corn was 26.5, 27% moisture, I believe. You know, I did get that last shot of fungicides on it, and you could tell some of the plant health it was banged up pretty good from that tornado. When you guys was at the plot, you could still see, and we didn't want to drive through it with the high boy because we'd have probably tore more corn up. So it is what it is. In our area, the bigger farmers are about half done with corn. They're having a pretty good crop. Well, we look like, I mean, from what I can tell, if the crop would have been standing, it would have been by far our best corn crop ever. So the corn's going to be pretty decent in our area. The big guys said the early corn was okay, but now they're getting it into a little bit later planted corn. It's getting better. Soybeans have been phenomenal. We've not cut any soybeans. They've been ready, but we've been trying to get some of this down corn. Most of the guys in the area are talking best beans they've ever cut. And they do look good. I don't know what else here.
How's your test weight holding up?
Test weight's kind of been all over the board. We've only hauled 3 loads down to the mill there, and they were, I think, 61 to 63 pounds. You know, a lot of that has to do with how wet the corn is. You know, showing 26, 27, 28% corn. You normally don't have quite the test weight as what you would if you let it dry in the field. But, you know, we're not overly concerned about test weight, you know, because like I've always said, it's not a true, the way they do it is not a true accurate measurement of the kernel weight. So, test weight for that moisture is probably about what we normally run for that kind of moisture. Trying to think, gearing up for next year. You know, you guys need to be thinking about trying to get that residue chewed up. You know, if we incorporate it, get in the ground, or spray some humic sugars on it. You know, just start breaking that residue down as fast as you can. Start thinking about pulling some nitrate tests. Not that, you know, I still don't know if that's still the best way to do it, because, you know, your weather's going to have a big impact on what you read. You know, if you've been dry, you're probably going to have a little higher nitrate. So it's not, you know, the best, or it may be the best way that we know right now, but it's not I don't think it's 100% accurate test of it, but that'll kind of get us in a ballpark idea. You know, that's really the only means of seeing on the nitrogen. We did pull a couple contest plots off. As of now, no world record here, but the interesting thing is, you know, where we pulled them was the one was 170 units of total in of commercial fertilizer nitrogen that we put on, and the other one was 160, and actually the 160 beat it, but you have to take that with a grain of salt because there was more wind damage in the 170, so the information can be a little skewed on that. Trying to think what else.
So on the nitrate test, what are they hoping to discover? Is if they put on too much nitrogen?
Well, that's kind of, so on the nitrate test, that's what we're kind of pegging. You know, we're just trying to get a feel, because I truly do believe that we are, especially if you're banding it with the Y drops, I 100% feel that we're applying too much nitrogen out there, even if we spoon feed it at different times. You just got to remember, we're concentrating all that nitrogen right there by the corn plant, and it's becoming 100% or as close to 100% efficient as what you can be with running the nitrogen. And you know, I'm just seeing anytime we get above that 180, 190, 200 pounds on our farm, even, you know, pushing 400 bushel corn, our yields are going down from too much nitrogen. That didn't sound good, whatever that was, but that's kind of, we're trying to get a rough idea of if we are applying too much nitrogen. I mean, I firmly believe that is costing us bushels by over applying. You know, I talked to Poe a little bit, and I think he actually said in a plot there at his place that where he had more nitrogen, actually his yields were down too. So that's several guys that over the last couple years that we've noticed where we put more nitrogen out there thinking that we need to get a higher number, it actually backfires and goes opposite, that their numbers actually go down by over applying. And it's not just the nitrogen numbers, it affects all the other numbers. So now I'm not saying everybody needs to cut down to 150, 160 pounds, but you know, if you're Y dropping and you're throwing 220 pounds down there and you're growing 220, 240 or bushels of corn, I will say you are over applying then. I will 100% say that. So, but anyway, if you can get some nitrate tests out there, we can go through it this winter. Like I said, soybeans been hearing some great yields on soybeans so far. And some pretty decent corn. Some guys, you know, up north, seemed like drought got them again. You know, I understand it's frustrating. You know, some of you guys had 3 years of drought, but you know, I'm sitting there thinking of the drought and why I think this program works. You know, we had 2 stretches here where we went. You know, earlier in the year we had, you know, 7 weeks there on I think 4/10 of an inch or something of rain, and then on this last month, or 5 weeks, I guess, we've had no rain, and looks like we could have, where the corn was standing, would have been by far our best corn. I mean, when we were shelling corn, you know, it might have only been 20 feet where we had everything standing. You know, it was, you know, on one of the contest plots there, you know, we seen a lot of 500 bushel corn going through it. But then, you know, we hit some of the down corn, and the problem was with the down corn, it went down so early, like at R2, that even though the corn was kinked over or whatever, but just wasn't getting much sunlight, and the ears were less than half the size of the standing ears. So, but the moral of the story is, I believe, even with our one shot, or we didn't get our last shot of fungicides on it, our late corn looks way better than the neighbor's late corn does again. So the program definitely works. It's just, you know, even if Mother Nature don't cooperate all the time. We've been hearing some pretty good yields. A couple of first-time guys out east harvested by far their best crop. So more than happy with the program. So a lot of good news, and we do want to hear some bad news. If there is some bad news, we want to hear that too, just so we can dive into it a little bit further this winter and see what's going on.